Have you ever felt something moving quietly behind the scenes of your life? Not loud, not obvious, but too perfectly timed to ignore. You see a number once, then again, and then it starts appearing everywhere. On your phone, in your dreams, on passing license plates, like it's following you. At first, you might brush it off, but then something shifts, a sudden insight, a gentle nudge, an unexpected opportunity. And it feels like the universe has been trying to get your attention. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. A soft conversation between your soul and the universe, speaking in signs instead of words. Numbers like these aren't just numbers. They're frequencies, vibrations that call out to something ancient inside you. And maybe you felt it too. So tell me this. Have you ever experienced something so precise, so perfectly timed, that it felt like the universe was speaking directly to you? If yes, I want to hear your story in the comments, because when we acknowledge these signs, we open the door for even more to appear. And if you're here, now, reading these words, it's because you're aligned with something greater, something stirring in July 2025. A quiet but powerful shift in energy that doesn't announce itself with noise, but with presence. This month carries a rare frequency, and with it, sacred numbers are rising. Not random digits, but spiritual signals that have echoed through Buddhist teachings, through sacred geometry, through time itself. These are messages, not measurements, codes, not coincidences. They are meant to guide you if you're ready to feel them. And you are. In this video, you'll uncover 6 powerful numbers, each infused with ancient wisdom, each resonating with your current energy. And at the very end, one final number will be revealed. A master frequency many believe holds the key to clarity, abundance, and powerful energetic alignment. So take a moment, breathe into this space, and if your heart recognizes this message, write in the comments, "I am aligned with the energy of wealth in July." Because this isn't just information, this is remembrance, this is connection, this is your moment. Let's begin. It doesn't shout, it doesn't chase you, it doesn't try to impress, because number 11 doesn't need noise. Its power lives in stillness. 2 parallel lines, silent, balanced, watching, waiting. It doesn't come to shake your world, it comes to wake something inside it. A quiet pull that feels less like a signal and more like a mirror, a reflection of where you are, who you're becoming, and what's rising from within. In spiritual numerology, and especially in Buddhist wisdom, the sacred isn't loud. It lives in the breath between thoughts, in the soft moment you almost miss, in the spaces where silence speaks louder than words. And that's exactly where 11 appears, not when the world is rushing, but when something in you starts listening. Maybe you catch it on a receipt, a timestamp, a street sign, and for a second, it feels like time pauses with you. That's not random. That's a check-in from your soul. A sign that you're tuned in more than you realize. Because 11 only appears when the inner world is preparing to echo into the outer one. When your intuition starts leaning forward. When the universe whispers. And for once, you actually hear it. And in July 2025, this energy is stronger. You may notice it more than usual, but not because the number has changed. You have. You're more sensitive now, more open, more in rhythm with what you used to ignore. If you've been feeling uncertain, standing on the edge of a decision, questioning what's next, this is your sign. You don't need to rush. You don't need to force anything. You just need to listen. 11 isn't a call to action. It's a call to presence. To pause long enough to hear the lyrics of a passing song. To notice a repeating thought. To feel your gut before your mind starts doubting it. And in that quiet space, clarity finds you. So when you see 11, don't just see a number. Let it be your reminder to stop running, to stop reaching, to stop overthinking, and just be. Be present, be aware, be still, because in stillness, truth rises. And 11 is your invitation back to that truth. Have you ever felt like you're walking in circles, dreaming of change, but trapped in the same loop again and again? You plan, you prepare, you even feel ready. But when it's time to leap, something inside holds you back. A whisper of doubt, a pause you can't explain. And it's in that exact moment that the energy of number 5 enters, not to push you, but to pull something free. 5 is the vibration of motion, of change, of momentum gathering just beneath the surface, waiting for you to say yes to it. It doesn't demand chaos, it brings clarity. It doesn't throw you off balance, it reminds you what balance truly is. In July 2025, this number arrives like a quiet wind that shifts the direction of everything without needing permission. It stirs the parts of your life that have grown too still, too safe, too small for who you're becoming. And it does so with intention, because Buddhist wisdom teaches that our suffering comes from clinging to comfort, to fear, to the illusion that we're in control. But 5 doesn't cling, it releases, it flows, it carries you from where you've been to where you're meant to go. This number doesn't show up when things are settled. It appears when your soul is stirring, when your spirit is nudging you toward something new, even if you don't yet have the words for it. You might feel restless, uneasy, pulled. Maybe there's a part of you craving change, a different job, a new environment, an honest conversation you've been avoiding. That's not stress. That's spiritual momentum. That's the wind of transformation, rising beneath your hesitation, waiting for you to catch it. And 5 is the sign that you're ready. Ruled by Mercury, the planet of thought and communication, this energy is not reckless. It's aware, it's sharp, it's motion with meaning. So if you've been seeing the number 5 in random places, in repeat patterns, in your thoughts, when nothing else makes sense, that's not a coincidence. That's your green light. Your signal to move, not to run blindly, but to take one real step, no matter how small, toward the life that's calling you forward. Because the moment you move, even just a little, you shift the energy around you. You shake free the dust. You stop being stuck and start becoming something more. And that is where everything begins. At first, it feels like nothing, just another number passing through the noise of your day. But then it returns. Not loudly, not urgently, just consistently. It shows up in quiet moments, the in-between spaces, when you're uncertain, reflective, standing still inside your own thoughts. And slowly, something about it begins to feel different. Number 17 isn't random. It's a soft anchor in the middle of your storm, a calm frequency wrapped in silent assurance, reminding you that even when things seem unclear, there's a path already unfolding beneath your feet. It carries the energy of 1, the courage to begin, the strength to lead, the spark of forward motion, and pairs it with the sacred resonance of 7, inner knowing, spiritual truth, that quiet voice that never rushes but always knows. Together, they don't push you, they guide you. A perfect balance of movement and meaning. Not just a number, but a message. Trust the pace of your life. If you've been caught between choices lately, unsure whether to hold on or let go, move forward or wait, and you've noticed 17 appearing, understand this: it's not here to give you a loud answer. It's here to remind you that the answer already lives inside you, beneath the noise, beneath the doubt, and it's waiting for you to get quiet enough to feel it again. July 2025 brings this number forward in a way that feels more direct, more present. It begins to show up at just the right times, not because the universe is suddenly louder, but because your spirit is more open. You're ready to hear what you used to ignore. And when you align with the energy of 17, you don't need to force decisions. They soften, they settle. You begin to walk through uncertainty, not with fear, but with quiet confidence. You feel lighter, clearer, more connected to your path, even if no one else sees it yet. That's the gift of this number. It doesn't create noise, it dissolves it. It doesn't push for action. It offers presence. And that's where its power lives. Not in the rush of movement, but in the peace of knowing you're already aligned. It doesn't always catch the eye right away. It isn't loud or dramatic. But number 8 carries one of the most powerful frequencies in the entire spiritual realm. A silent strength that reveals itself not all at once, but over time. Just look at its shape, perfectly balanced, infinitely looping, no beginning, no end. It's not just a number, it's a rhythm, a sacred current where energy flows into form, and form flows back into energy. A never-ending exchange between giving and receiving, intention and result, effort and reward. In Buddhist philosophy and many Eastern teachings, 8 is the symbol of harmony, not just within yourself, but between your inner and outer world. It's the number of karma, of structure, of conscious creation. It reminds you that what you build inside, your beliefs, your discipline, your trust, eventually shapes what you experience outside. Nothing random, nothing wasted, just aligned effort becoming real-world manifestation. And as July 2025 unfolds, this number becomes something more than symbolic. It becomes grounding, not the kind of energy that invites reckless hope, but the kind that asks you to build with purpose. It whispers of expansion, but not the kind that explodes overnight. The kind that lasts, that deepens, that stands even when everything else moves around it. Because 8 doesn't promise magic, it promises mastery. It asks for presence, for strategy, for focus. It asks you to slow down, get clear, and build what actually matters. Not for applause, not for perfection, but because your soul is finally ready for something real. If you've been seeing it on addresses, phone numbers, timestamps, don't ignore it. You're stepping into a cycle where your energy holds weight. Your choices carry momentum. You're entering a season of manifestation, not fueled by pressure, but by patience, by vision, by calm, steady alignment. This is not about chasing abundance. It's about becoming the kind of person it flows to. Think back to a moment when you laughed without needing a reason. When your body moved freely to music no one else could hear. When you created something, a thought, a gesture, a dream, not for reward, but just because it felt good. That feeling, that lightness, that spark that rises from somewhere wordless, that's the essence of number 3. It's not just a number, it's a vibration, a reminder, a gentle tap on the shoulder, telling you that joy is not a distraction from your path. It is your path. 3 is the energy of expression, of color returning to a world that's gone gray. It's the voice that finally speaks, the song that wants to be sung, the idea that flows through your hands when your heart is finally open. It doesn't measure wealth by numbers in a bank. It measures by how alive you feel when you're no longer holding yourself back. In July 2025, this frequency becomes even more magnetic, powered by its connection to Jupiter, the planet of expansion, optimism, and divine blessing. But here's the truth most people miss. You don't access that expansion through force. You access it through joy. 3 doesn't respond to pressure. It withers in control. It blooms in play, in curiosity, in the moments when you say something out loud that you were afraid to admit and suddenly feel lighter. When you let yourself laugh, when you take a risk just because your spirit said yes, even if your logic said, wait. If lately you've been too serious, weighed down by routine, trapped in the loop of what if and what now, let this number be your release. Let it remind you that joy isn't indulgence. It's medicine. It's alignment. It's where true magnetism lives. Because when you return to joy, when you let yourself create, laugh, connect, share, speak, you change the frequency around you. And that frequency draws in everything meant for you, not because you chased it, but because you finally became the kind of light it was already looking for. And now we reach the number that doesn't just complete the message. It reveals it. 66. Not loud, not forceful, just quietly present, like something that's been waiting for you to notice it all along. You didn't stumble upon it, you aligned with it. Because this number doesn't chase, it reflects. And the moment you began to listen inward, it began to show itself outward. In Buddhist philosophy, the number 6 is sacred. It represents the 6 perfections: generosity, discipline, patience, joyful effort, meditation, and wisdom. These aren't traits, they're energies, gateways, states of being that shape the quality of your inner world. And when doubled, as 66, this frequency expands into something far more powerful, a divine mirror between what lives within you and what unfolds around you. This number doesn't offer shortcuts, it offers alignment. It says that when your energy is rooted in peace, in clarity, in grounded truth, the material world begins to respond. Abundance doesn't just show up, it recognizes you. It flows toward the version of you that is finally ready to receive without resistance. And 66 is the reminder that your readiness is here. If you feel called to deepen this connection, there's a simple practice, a quiet ritual not for results, but for resonance. Write the number 66 on a piece of white paper. Fold it slowly, with intention in your breath. Place it under your pillow for 7 nights in July. Each night, let yourself listen inward. Pay attention to what rises in your dreams, in your thoughts, in the silence between them. That's your intuition speaking. And if you want to anchor the energy further, light a candle and write 6 things you're truly grateful for. Not just in words, but in feeling. And 6 things you wish to gently invite into your life before this year ends. Because this isn't superstition, it's sacred preparation. You're not casting wishes, you're creating space. And true wealth, the kind that stays, the kind that nourishes, the kind that grows without fear, only arrives when your spirit is calm enough to hold it. That's what 66 brings. The reminder that you're not waiting anymore, you're not hoping, you're not chasing, you're ready. And now, as we slowly arrive at the end of this journey, I invite you to do something rare, something we often forget in the rush of doing, chasing, planning. Pause, not for this video, not for the words on the screen, but for you, because what you just heard wasn't just a list of numbers or symbols or teachings. It was a transmission, a message wrapped in silence, carried through time, and delivered to you, not by chance, but by alignment. These numbers, they weren't chosen randomly. They were chosen for you, each one carrying its own frequency, its own wisdom, its own quiet nudge in the right direction. Maybe you didn't understand every word. Maybe you only felt something, a flicker, a memory, a sensation that didn't quite make sense, but felt deeply familiar. That's the language of energy. That's how the universe speaks when the mind becomes quiet enough to listen. So take a breath, not just into your lungs, but into your being. Let that breath reach the parts of you that have been holding on too tightly. Let it soften the resistance. Let it settle the noise. Let it remind you that you're already further than you think. Because July 2025 is not just another month on the calendar. It's a doorway, a moment in time where the veil is thinner, the energy is clearer, and the path forward becomes easier to see. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. You're more awake, more aware, more ready than ever before. And maybe, just maybe, everything you've been asking for, the wealth, the peace, the answers, the signs, they've been waiting just on the other side of your readiness, quietly circling you, waiting for the signal, waiting for you to say yes. So if anything in this journey moved something in your soul, if even one number felt like a whisper meant only for you, then let the energy live beyond this moment. Tap the like button, subscribe to this sacred space rooted in old Buddhist wisdom and divine numerology, and let the universe hear your voice in the comments below. I am open, I am aligned, I am ready. Say it not with urgency, but with trust. Because readiness isn't something you force, it